You've seen it, I've seen it. We have seen so many comments and posts that were clearly created only with ChatGPT. Things like, this post looks extraordinary. I bet you are really looking forward to, or in conclusion to this, I would like to add though. That type of language that really doesn't sound quite right, but seems at the point only that there must be something to it. Hi guys, I want to talk to you today about how to master AI in order to create really powerful content for your personal brand, for your online presence. Because I truly believe that ChatGPT and all the AI tools that have come upon us since the last November are extremely powerful and are extremely good resources for us to use at all times. Okay, so let's just get into it. I am currently using ChatGPT and many other AI tools that I will also list in some of the comments, only of those that I really find very useful, to create multiple type of contents, from posts to email, to newsletters, to landing pages. Nowadays, we can even use AI a lot to create images. And I definitely used quite a bit of these tools in order to help me get a bit of inspiration, help me get a bit of more ideas under my belt, and why not formatting it? But there is a catch to it, and we all know it, right? So there is so much about how much are we using AI. A while ago, there was this question that will AI replace us, especially the artists? I strongly believe no, but it will for sure replace those who do not how to use it right, because it simply shows. So today, I want to talk to you about how to use it and how I use it, at least, in order to help me and my clients get along this content requirements that are really needed for us to be online. Now, let me know which one of these phrases or generics sound familiar to you. The in conclusion. So remember that piece of content that it's usually quite a bit long, and at the end of the article or of the post, you see the in conclusion. I have seen it way too many times. This is definitely one that gives away that content has been only generated by AI, and nobody really looked at it or gave it a personal touch. Let's delve in. Let's not. All right. Let's explore. Let's anything that starts with let's. For me, it's a clear indication that it's written by AI. The rule of the thumb, if I can put it like that, is this: if you wouldn't use that phrase, that language, that expression naturally in your day-to-day explorations, don't let it written either, because it just sounds awkward if anything else. Describing our fast-paced world. I have seen this so many times as well. In this digital world, in this turbulent world, in this complicated world, in this whatever world, it's definitely written by AI. Words that seem like being out of a fairy tale, that are overly complicated, that are overly explanatory, that are overly anything else. Clearly AI. When using very common names, unless, of course, your name is Sarah or John or Anna, okay, then definitely use your name there, or use the testimonials that you had prepared. But unless that's not the case, don't leave those generic names there. Fancy, rarely used words like multifaceted. I have never ever used that word, in while speaking. So for me, that's again a clear indication that it is AI written. Words that seem out of place, like captivating. I know it's a little more common, this one, but when you say it in a post, as captivating as it might be, let the others judge that for themselves, and don't let AI put that little word there. Embrace this golden moment, when I was talking about the fairy tale, this is part of it as well. Chapter introductions, again, one of my favorites, along with the in conclusion. The guiding phrase, navigating the intricate the intricate world of, or the intricacies of, again, AI. The professor, remember, it's vital too. Remember, it's important too. Before the conclusion, you really get that. Remember, for me, that's a clear indication it's AI written. The too many emojis as well. I know there has been quite a bit of a trend at one moment to have those, but a big no-no. It's clearly, a sign of the text, the content being written only by AI. So what do you do instead? Okay, because obviously I'm saying that using AI, it's a good thing to do. Um, and then what do we do? How do you know, apart from your own experience, which might be, of course, reduced to the post that you are seeing online, let's say, to filter, the content generated by AI, if you're using it and if you need those ideas, in such way that it becomes more natural. I think that the best advice that I can give anyone and myself is look at it from the perspective of, would I say that aloud in a conversation? If does that sound like me? Does that sound like a more educated me, let's say, on that topic at least? If the answer is clearly no, or if you're laughing about what you're reading, then scratch it. Okay. And then I think there are a bit of other tips that I can share from my own experience of using ChatGPT that you can use in order to filter the content and make it relevant to you. Because remember, the AI is trained based on the content that was initially introduced. It's continuously trained by the content that is added right now on the platforms. And because it's trained to write in a certain way, that's how it writes. So that means to me that we can train it to sound more like us as well. So it's an easy fix. So this is how I do it. Start with defining your brand goals. Okay, so list down the three main goals of your brand. Like increasing brand visibility, establish yourself as an authority in your industry, to have an engagement on with your community, to have inbound leads. Okay, whichever these are, list them, and for now, just keep them as little as three of them. And then make sure you are really pinpointing that ideal client, that ideal target audience to whom you are speaking to. Okay, sketch a persona of your ideal client. And a client, don't take it like someone who necessarily buys from you, but who buys your ideas. Okay, who is listening to what you are having to say, who's reading your content, who's engaging with you online. Okay, be as specific as you can. By the end of this call, of this webinar, actually, you will have a little free bonus that helps you identify your ideal persona using AI, and making it as specific as possible. But the best advice I can share with you is that in order to understand your ideal client as best as possible, you have to at least understand what are their pains, frustrations, and desires. The moment you are doing that, everything truly, truly becomes easier. Okay, and this is how I have this little prompt, if you want, in here, and I'm going to do actually this exercise along with you. Okay, act as and here you put your role, and be as specific as you can. Create an audience persona, including pain points, frustrations, fears, desires, buying behaviors, and content they find helpful and useful to achieve their goals. Okay, with focus on content they find helpful and useful to achieve their goals. I am up, and here you put your role again, your job. Okay, who does the service that you do for, and here you say about that ideal persona, at least at the level of, I don't know, industry that you are looking for. Shall we do this together? So let me just stop sharing for a second and I will share again my screen. All right, so you're in my chat GPT right now, okay? And I'm using GPT-4. I think it's a bit better refined. And I just copy pasted that prompt, okay? So I will say, I don't know, do you want me to take any particular examples? You can tell me about any roles that you are having and we can go with that, or I can create an example of my own. Okay. Hey, Smichi, thank you for that. So let's do this then. Okay, I am and I will put here content creator. Okay, let's be a little more generic. Create an audience persona, including pain points, frustrations, fears, desires, buying behaviors, and content they find useful to achieve their goals. I'm and let's say here I am a graphic designer, okay, who does ads and copywriting for whom and in what industry. And I will say here, tech founders. Sounds about right? So let's go and see what it says. Okay, and it gives us actually an audience persona, right? Exactly what we asked them to do. Tech founders seeking graphic design and copywriting services. Okay, this is my audience persona. It already gave them a name, Alex Morgan, age 35, occupation, tech founder, and CEO of a growing SaaS company. Okay, it's already even more specific, something that I didn't even put in my ideal target audience. As a background, Alex started as a software engineer and later founded a tech startup. The company offers a unique SaaS solution created for SMEs. The business has been growing steadily, and Alex is looking to scale the company further. Obviously, that's why he needs graphic design support. Pain points and frustrations. So here we go. This is important. Inconsistent branding, low ad engagement, weak copy, time constraints, budgetary concerns. Okay. Fears, losing market share because they want to grow their business, right? Wasting money, miscommunication, and desires to have a strong brand identity, to have engaging ads that will obviously convert, to have clear and persuasive copy, to have data-driven approach. This is quite an interesting ride. So because he's a tech founder, it makes sense actually that he would base his decisions on data, right? Something that you might not think about from the very beginning. And as buying behaviors, he's research driven. Alex typically starts with online research, reading reviews, case studies, and looking at a designer's past work. This kind of gives you an idea of what you should have on your front page, right? Referrals matter, value over price. I can tell you already this is the case for everyone out there. And content they find helpful and useful would be case studies, tips and tricks, so something that would save him time, webinars and workshops, interactive sessions, templates and tools. Okay. As goals, he has brand recognition, established the company as a recognizable name in the tech industry, increased sales and conversions, long-term partnerships. And the engagement strategy you can approach with Alex is to have tailored solution for him, offer customized design and copywriting packages that cater specifically to tech founders, consultative approach, okay, understand his challenges before you are selling something to them, transparent communication, okay, so this goes right into one of his fears, right? So do not have a miscommunication. So obviously the engagement strategy would have a transparent communication and data-backed results. provide analytics and insights. Now, look at this, right? So this is already completely different. Okay. So if you start, let me give it another try. So let's say that I was not using this very specific prompt and very specific requirements. Okay. And I was just saying, um, I am a junior, let's say, web graphic designer, and I want more clients. Who would be my ideal client? You see, I'm already in a habit of giving some ideas because I'm sure that most of the prompts would not look even this detailed, right? But let's say they are. So let's see if by giving less information, I get the same juicy details from ChatGPT. Okay. And this is what he tells us. Okay, now he followed the example I actually gave him above. Because he learned that, speaking about learning. Okay, so I will try to make him forget it. Okay, so let's say, forget my initial prompt and specific requirements. Just answer my question. Okay, and I'll try to just repeat that. I'm doing this because I want you to see, and you can try in your own prompt, right? Try in your own ChatGPT and just give it a more generic prompt and then make it more specific and see what happens. I think it's okay. So now I asked ChatGPT to forget my initial prompt and specific requirements and just answer my question as if I was not that clear with him earlier. Okay. And this is what a normal generic answer from ChatGPT would look like. Okay. Which is not bad, but it's not that great either. So startups and small businesses, local entrepreneurs, bloggers, nonprofits, individuals, event organizers, etc. Right? So now look at this example, which again is not that bad. It gives you some ideas where to start. And look at these specifics, right? You already know what kind of content they will find helpful, how to engage with them, what are their pain areas, okay? You already know they need a data-driven approach, that, you need to put case studies there. So these are things that can help you have a very specific strategy altogether and create content and posts and articles and emails and anything you want that is clearly getting to the right target. Okay, so I hope this was useful. You will have also this prompt actually in your in the presentation right after we are finishing this webinar, but try it on your own. Okay, try it and see what you're getting with any kind of question. Hi, Abhilash. I've previously used AI to generate comments and noticed that AI-generated comments often have a monotone voice, simply meaning it lacks emotion, expression, and human connect emotionally. So I suggest using AI to gain insights, but make sure to write in a more natural, multi-tone voice. I completely agree, of course. And this is where we train them. So I often think about AI and any tool on AI that I use right now as a buddy. Think of it as your assistant, your private assistant. How would you talk to them? So if you would have someone right next to you who could unload you of writing something or creating any type of content that you need, how would you tell them to do that? You know, would you be very specific? Would you make sure that they start to understand your personality, your goals, your way of speaking, the language that you use? Maybe you're a storyteller. Maybe, you like to tell jokes. Maybe you like to be very formal and very informative. Maybe you like to provide a lot of data. So use all this information to actually feed into your AI, into ChatGPT, before you are creating any type of content. And the best thing is that you can always reiterate, and you can give him as many detailed indications as you want until you're happy with the outcome, and it doesn't mind. So I was actually doing this a little experiment at one moment when I was feeding into ChatGPT requests, and I was very unhappy with what it gave me back. And I was actually telling ChatGPT, hey, buddy, this is crap. I don't like this outcome. I really it doesn't really meet the needs and what I told you. So you have to reiterate. And it was replying back, it's like, I apologize, for misunderstanding. So here is another version that is more specific to your request about X and Y, Z. And that's how I learned as well, along with it, that, it learns. So if you don't like something, tell him what you don't like. If you like something, tell him what you like. The more specific you can be, the better. And then comes the next step as well, creating systems, creating templates, creating maybe some commands that you find useful. I could sell you as well 1,000 commands, prompts for GPT that you can use, but you don't really need that. Okay, you need to create your own. I can share with you examples, and you obviously know yourself how to already use ChatGPT. It's just that you have to take the time to refine it a little more. You don't need to buy prompts from anywhere else. You just need to talk with him as if it would be your buddy. Okay. I want to share with you a bit more about how to do this now. So let me get back to this. Okay. Now that we started, and I took this, how to start with your ideal persona, because it's the simplest way to start creating content, right? If you know for whom or whom you are talking to, then it's easy, right, to create any kind of content for that, be it a post, or an email or an ad or whatever that is. Okay, so I would say let's get a bit to how I do it, or this is my own example. I will start with a very clear, concise prompt. Okay, and I give, I always start with an action verb. If you notice, also the other prompt that I have used, write a post about, or give me ideas about this, or create this persona. So be very specific. If you cannot be that specific, ask ChatGPT to help you refine your question. Even it can also do that, and you will find more clarity in that refination as well. Okay, then you can guide it, while you are getting some responses. You can guide it by being more specific or giving some nuances for it. So for example, if the output is not aligned with what you're getting, instead of saying something very generic like create my ideal buyer, my ideal client, be specific, create my ideal client, along with their, who is mainly working in this industry and in these roles. And I want to know about their content preferences, their buyer behavior, their pains, their fears, their desires. So you see where the nuanced difference is. Instead of writing about marketing, try write a LinkedIn post highlighting the top 3 marketing strategies for startups. Of course, you won't come with these ideas from the very beginning, but as you refine, as you are talking with it, you'll for sure get into the specifics. Make it personal. Okay, it's exactly what Abhilash was also saying earlier. Add your personal touch to it, ask him to add anecdotes, ask him to have a storytelling language, ask him to be humorous, and actually give examples of how you would speak or something that you like, so this is where, many people call them templates, but you can give your own post that you liked and you had, or email, let's say, and you had a lot of success with, and ask ChatGPT to write in the same fashion, using the same format, style, language, even visual formatting as well. Okay. What else you can do? Okay, you can make it conversational. I'm trying to, okay. Avoid things that really look AI written, okay? Simplify for clarity. Very, very often, more often than not, ChatGPT tends to use a very complicated language. Ask him to refine it. Ask him to say that in simple words. You can even tell him that, use a very simple, clear language that, a peer will understand, while creating this email or this post, and you will see how it's changing and how it's, refine it until you are feeling comfortable with. Infuse your brand's voice, okay, and personal stories. Avoid repetitive words or repetitive phrases, take out the redundant information. Ask ChatGPT to do it, or obviously look yourself for it. If, for example, AI mentions a certain word or phrase multiple times in a short span, then ask him to reduce the frequency or delete it altogether. Okay, use a storytelling voice. This is always helpful because it connects us better to the ones who are in our audience. I always try to share my own examples because I know them best, right? I have been there, done that, so it's easy to use my examples. So why not put it in my content as well? Encourage engagement. Always end your posts, your emails, your ads with a call to action. We as people definitely need that nudge. We need to be told sometimes what to do, even if it's just a simple follow or engage or, give feedback. So it's really good to have that included also in your prompts when using AI. And of course, create content as much as you can in order to boost your visibility. Okay. um, I think we've gone through, but obviously over complex words or phrases are definitely a giveaway for that content is written by AI. And I think I am having a bit of trouble with my own internet here, so just give me a second. Okay, I made here a little list with things that, or phrases rather, that are certain giveaways for content that is written by AI. So you'll have this list as well. But you can as simply as introduce this type of prompt in your chat GPT and add to it anything else that you found and you dislike. Maybe there are certain expressions that you really don't like using. Maybe you don't want to be overly friendly or, on the other side, overly serious about the tone. So just put something like this in ChatGPT and say, avoid this when creating the content that I asked for, and this is my list. Okay, generalized statements in today's whatever age, in the modern world, it's widely known. Vague adverbs, significantly improve, highly effective, extremely beneficial, so for this, just use simple language. That's the best command you can give it. Redundant phrases, the end results, free gift. So things that are not meant to be in any good copy. Overly complex language. It is of paramount importance to certain the implications of. you never say that out loud, right? So avoid these things, and I'm sure you can create a bigger list for this one as well. Unnecessary jargon, the synergy, it's already used already. The paradigm shifts, the new future, right? The new normal. Sorry, avoid this by with your life. Repetitive words, lack of being specific. Many studies have shown how many. Okay, experts believe which experts. It's often said that where, who, how much. So, these are they sound common sense, right? And if you would pitch something, you would also not say very, you won't say generalities, right? Because we need to put specifics. So give the same prompt to ChatGPT when creating content. Ask him to do some research, even if you cannot do it yourself. Being too passive, okay, it might be considered that one could possibly no speak from your own perspective. Actually, even say that to ChatGPT. Personal brand strategist, I want to share my insights about how I created this presentation and how I collected the ideas of creating content using AI. You get the point. So create from an I perspective. It connect you better with people, and it just sounds authentic because it is. Overuse cliches, okay, leveraging machine learning algorithms, harnessing the power of blah blah blah, avoid it as well. Being very impersonal, one must ensure, I think it goes hand in hand with being passive. So use your own list. Obviously this is just a part of mine, and you don't have to put all of this in a prompt, right? When creating the content, you don't need to have a prompt that goes, I don't know, 100 lines. But be aware of these cliches and use your own list if you want to avoid them, and single out those that really stand out for you. And you can always just put them in ChatGPT and make sure it doesn't really use them. Okay, what to use instead? Obviously the opposite of it, but here are some ideas that I'm using as well. Be very specific. I think this is the only single thing that I'm doing as well when I'm using ChatGPT. I'm trying to be as specific and as personal as possible. Write about X, in this industry, in this specific time, for this specific reason. Be very, very detailed about what you want. Okay, use numbers. Why use numbers? Because in written form, especially in posts, on LinkedIn, it's easier for someone to read your content if it's using a simple language, if it's having some clear numbers, if it's visually pleasing. So numbers always help. Numbers always attract us and help us understand better the content. Okay, use bullet points and lists. Don't overly abuse this one. Okay, now I'm not saying be different from how you are. Okay, but this is a format that I saw as being successful, and by successful I mean that more people than before were able to identify with it, go through it, fully until the very end, engage with it, and actually responded and became friends or partners. So use some bullet points and some numbers where you can. Don't overly abuse it, and make sure that it still represents you. Write it in a friendly conversational tone, as if talking to a close friend. You can actually ask ChatGPT to create your content in this manner. Ask for examples, ask for him to do a research. It's always useful to have some backup data. You can give indications about the visual format. Okay, so you can suggest a format if you have, again, an example that you want to use. Although I strongly advise you to not overly abuse it. I know there are fantastic creators out there who are creating great content, but at one moment, if everyone copies their format, if everyone writes like X and Y on the internet, it's so obvious, right? So use your own format, use your own language. Make it as simple as it's possible to convey your point, and give some examples, but don't overly abuse it. Okay, avoid emojis and slang. I personally use some emojis, but I found out that the more you use, the more your content is skipped, because it just doesn't glue with everyone, right? So if you want to make a post only about emojis, do that. Show your personality. My experience showed me that it's better not to overly use this one. And you can give this prompt to ChatGPT because it really tends to include lots of emojis in the content that it actually produces. Incorporate questions, like start with the compelling questions to engage the reader. Okay, so that always helps. Give direct clear instructions, okay, like avoid passive voice, okay, or use short sentences for clarity. I sometimes give him indications like how many words should be in a sentence or how long the sentence should be. So for example, for a hook, I wouldn't use more than 85 characters sometimes, because it simply fits very well on the screen of the phone. So you can be as specific as that if you feel like. A storytelling approach, if you feel like it, is always helpful. Vary sentences length. This is something I found very useful when created content, because it engages people visually. So they read a small sentence first, and then they're going into a longer story, and then some bullet points, and then again a bit of a phrase. So it's visually pleasing, it's engaging, and people don't feel like tired of reading only one bulk of text. Okay, seek alternatives, like provide different intros for the topic to choose from, so you can choose the one that you prefer the best. Incorporate data research. Make sure you take care also into account the cultural regional nuances of your target audience. So, for example, if your audience is UK based, then you might want to use an English that is a British English, right? And please don't shoot me, but I know it's difficult for many of us to do this, myself including, not being a native of that particular country. Okay. As for reframing, use unique analogies or metaphors. This is also a very good point when you want to be very specific and speak the language of your audience. And a personal touch. Always incorporate some personal details that would make your content even more authentic and more you. Okay. Uh, all right. Speaking of emojis, so I know I'm repeating myself, but if I would put between yes or no, I would say definitely no. Use 1, 2, 3. I think at one moment there were some analytics done on how many emojis are good to have in a post. I don't really have a specific number, but the less, the better. Okay. Okay, so this is what I wanted to go through. I have also showed you how I share, how I use my own ChatGPT to actually create the work. Now, I strongly invite you to test on your own. You will receive from me this little presentation and the prompts I used, and some of the examples that I have shown to you. Experiment on your own. I think ChatGPT and any AI tool, it's about experimenting and see how you're getting along with it, and making it personal and train it. I don't think we should run from it by any chance. I think it's wrong to pretend that we are not using AI. I even had people requesting that they should not be written by AI by any chance. We have to use the tools that we're having in hand. We have started to use Google a while ago, so now we are starting to use AI, and who knows what's coming next. But use it in a way that makes it sound and feel like you. Personalize it, make sure that it represents you and your interests, your target audience, and I don't know, use it as a friend, use it as a buddy that can truly help you out. Okay, hope this was useful. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you then in the comments.